Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a Football Manager experiment, where today we're taking a look at Manchester City and what could happen with this financial fair play issue that they've got going on. You may have seen in the news they have got lots of stuff levied against them in football, and lots of things could end up happening. Points deductions, transfer embargoes, they've got fines that could be awarded against them. One of those things is they could be expelled from the Premier League. Now, the other thing that goes along with that is that the EFL don't actually need to accept them. And what would that mean? Well, it would mean that they may have to go down to the Vanarama National League, which is the first tier of non-league football. I say non-league, they're almost all pro clubs in there anyway. But that said, we have chucked them in there. Let's see how it goes. If this happened, what would happen according to Football Manager? Now, we do know that, they've got Pep Guardiola still, and we know that they'll obviously have their full squad initially. Now, we've also put in here a transfer embargo till 2026. So, in the sense, if they did get promoted every year, the first year back in the Premier League, they'd be able to then start spending money again. But we don't know how that will go. Will they end up having to just sell every player? Will Pep Guardiola hang about? He said he might if they were to move down divisions in the press. But is that true? We will see. So best thing to do is we'll jump ahead maybe 6 months. We'll get to about the end of January, see if what's happened, what players have moved on, and how they're getting on in the lead. I expect they'll be fine. But let's jump ahead and take a look. Okay then, so we're halfway through the season. It's looking like they're going to win the league. They've drawn one game, and that was against Eastleigh, and have actually won the other 26. So they've done all right for themselves. They are actually also still in the Champions League. They haven't been kicked out of that, and we can see that it looks like they've actually gone through in the groups by all accounts, winning every game other than their one against Bayer Leverkusen. They've also done pretty well so far in the FA Trophy and also the FA Cup. Looking at the players, we can kind of already see that, yeah, they're doing all right. Still got Erling Haaland, Riyad Mahrez, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, De Bruyne, Gundogan, all the players you'd probably expect to be there. Let's take a look at the transfers though. Who has left? Obviously, these are the players that signed in the summer, so they're already at the club before the embargo was put in place. But otherwise, I don't think really anyone's left. It's just a couple of loans. Liam Smith, Boyes going to Palermo on loan, which is that's a big move. But otherwise, yeah, just the stuff that's already been arranged. So we'll jump to the end of the season. Just to confirm that they've won the league, basically, which I think they will do quite easily, and then we'll jump through the years a bit quicker. Okay, as we can see then, Man City have in fact won the league. It was one loss in the season against Aldershot, which is a bit of a surprise, but then Enoch Asante has joint top goal scorer along with Erling Haaland, so not bad going. Bernardo Silva being up there with the assists alongside Zach Brunt. Two very big names in football, I'm sure you will agree. But yeah, Quite the record, as you'd probably expect in that instance. Pep's still manager, 52 years old now, so no surprise there. Let's take a look at the competitions, though. How did they get on? It looks like they got knocked out in the Champions League round of 16 by Porto. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, looks it. But they did get to the FA Cup final and won it, along with the FA Trophy. So they've done the treble. I'm not sure how high leveled that is, considering it's the National League, FA Trophy and the FA Cup, but it's still a treble. It is trophy winning, so Pep's still on the trophy winning role. Transfer wise, I don't think there should be any that's gone out so far. Yeah, just loans at the moment. But let's jump ahead and take a look a bit more as to kind of next season when they're in League 2 and how they get on. Okay, League 2 then, and it's another easy league win. Erling Haaland, joint top goal scorer, along with John Marquise this time. Rodri being high on the assist charts there. One loss this season as well in Northampton. Again, a bit of a surprise, I think, considering the players that they've actually got in the squad still. They've still got some very, very good players. Erling Haaland being one of them. Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Rodri, of course, Calvin Phillips. Cancelo's still there, even though he's actually in real life gone to Bayern. John Stones, Carl Walker. But it looks like they are bringing in a few of the younger players. Jadel Katongo being one of them. Issa Kabore looks like he... well, I don't think he actually... Yeah, he played a couple of games, so that's good. But yeah, Rico Lewis obviously getting some more game time as well. Luis Fiorini. So they are playing more younger players. How much that's influenced, I don't know. But looking at the schedule, obviously, yeah, they won the FA Cup. So they were in the Europa League this season. How did they get on in that? That's a big question. Looks like they got to the FA Cup quarterfinals. The Papa John's Trophy, which they first got into, they've actually won as well. And that ended up being a game against Man United's under-21. So what a game that would have been. 2-1 win there with Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland getting the 2 goals. But again, surprising with the team that they're playing that they didn't beat them by more. Still going through in the quarterfinals. They lost in the final of the Europa League to Porto, 2-1 in the end. Erling Haaland getting their only goal there. So quite the performance. They won't be in Europe next year though, because they have in fact lost in the FA Cup. So they won't be going through on that front. I mean, they lost to Burnley 1-0, who's, Vincent Kompany still manager. So well done to them. Oh, the other thing, which I didn't quite mention earlier, is the way we've put them in the National League was because Wrexham were put in the Prem. Because I was like, well, they're Hollywood boys. I'm sure they'll handle themselves. They haven't really. So they're now rock bottom of the Championship. So we might watch how they get on and when maybe Man City passes them at that point. Although thinking about it, they're now playing each other in the next season. So we'll see. But let's take a look at Man City's team. And the transfers, I should say, that occurred when they were here in League Two. So we'll look at the big ones. So Ruben Diaz going to Liverpool, 84 million. Laporte and De Bruyne are both going to Atletico Madrid. Alvarez going to Chelsea. Morgan Rogers going off to Newcastle. Bustos as well. I mean, they've lost Luke Mbete, who's a half-decent player. Callum Doyle went off to Spurs under-21s for free. And other than that, a few loans to their kind of clubs that they're related with. But otherwise, pretty good, to be honest. To only lose 4, maybe 5 first-team players, potentially. Not bad at all. Although saying that, I think there might have been a few that maybe left on free transfers. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. There you go. Let's jump ahead and see how they get on in the next division. I'm predicting another win. As predicted then, it is another league win. And this time they did go without losing. It was only the 3 draws against Forest Green, Salford and Sutton, which, again, a bit surprising that it's taken 2 seasons from being right at the bottom to reach that level. But there you go. Man City then, how have they got on in the other cup competition? I mean, they've smashed the league, obviously. But looking at the cup competitions, they lost in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup against Everton, won the Papa John's Trophy again for the second time for the 2 years they've been in it, beating Chelsea under-23s, which you'd, again, probably expect they should win it, considering the squad size. Have they still got a bunch of players that, Edison, of course, still in there, Cabore's there, Cancelo, Haaland's obviously still there. Same with Phil Foden, Jack Grealish. Let's take a look at those transfers, though. Who has gone and who has stayed? Akanji's gone to Atletico Madrid, who must have quite the squad now, with likes of Laporte in there. And De Bruyne, of course, who's not actually in that starting 11 by the looks of things. But yeah, quite the team. Ake's off to Aston Villa. Harwood Bellis went to Brentford. Kuta and Suso also left. But again, not many players actually leaving the club. So doing well to hold on to them. I guess because they are rising up the leagues quick, they're not too worried about those players leaving. All things considered, especially with the kind of squad they've ended up got. Pep's still in charge. Let's jump ahead one more and see how they get on in the Championship. So Championship time, and a little bit harder, but still not hard enough for them. It was a comfortable victory, 124 points to West Brom's 87 in the end, so easy for them. But a lot of 4 games, Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry and Hull, so that's a little one to to put your cap on there for you for. Looking at it, actually, let's see where we can find Wrexham. Wrexham here, they're in League One, 11th. I mean, that's not bad. I guess they get the parachute payments and stuff from the Prem. But looking at the team, they've still got the big players. Erling Haaland, John Stones is in there. Phil Foden is around as well. Who's left? I mean, again, they've only brought in 36k. Obviously, still can't sign anyone, but they will be able to next time. So it'll be interesting to see how much they're spending in that season when they're back in the Prem. But yeah, a few players leaving on a free, bunch of loans. Nothing too much otherwise, but I bet they've got loads and loads of money. Finances wise, 193 million. They're going to go crazy when they pay for some players to bring in. Pep's still there. He's brought them back to the Prem. But, well, there's only one thing to do, and that's to take a look at the schedule, because this wasn't actually what I was going to do. Quarterfinal of the FA Cup. Interesting. Carabao Cup got to the semi-final. Ended up losing to Arsenal on penalties. Shame. Anyway, Oh, and they were in the Club World Cup apparently, but lost in the group stage or something. I don't know. Let's actually have a look at that. Yeah, they must have got knocked out in the group stage. There you go. Let's take a look at how they get on in the Prem, how much money they're going to spend to obviously get this team up. And will they go straight into the top of the table again? Will they start winning leagues straight away? Or is it a case that they're going to flounder around and jump around a little bit before being able to steady themselves again? There's one way to find out, and that's jumping ahead now. All right, then. So I've jumped 4 years on to 2030. So we can see a few years in the Prem for them. They've just finished their fourth season back, I think it will be. And they finished in fourth. So they're in the Champions League spot, but they're not really fighting for the title there. Erling Haaland's still there, John Stones, and so's Pep. So they've obviously stuck around. You can see the quick promotion rise. But let's take a look at the Prem first in probably one of the more enjoyable formats or not. What am I doing? We have had a shocker here. Let's go to this one. There you go. Stages, and we'll jump back a couple. So, obviously not that season, but this season was their first season back, and they got second. Champions League spot straight away, no concerns whatsoever. Season after, they actually missed out. Got Europa League, finishing in sixth. Maybe it's because the other teams in the Prem were able to build up a little more to be a bit more competitive on that front. Then they've won the league, so it took them 3 years to win the league again since returning to the Prem. So really not much of a challenge for them. And then finally, most recently, as we saw, Champions League football. Let's take a look at the transfers then. How did they get on? What money were they spending as soon as they got back? So yeah, you can see the instant bam. Straight away, £380 million they spent. Scalvini being the big one, 106 million. He's still there. You've got the likes of Cucurella from Real Madrid. He's brought in. They wanted him obviously originally. They've come back to the Prem and now brought him in. Kovacic from Chelsea, who must be getting on a bit. 36. I mean, it's getting on a little bit. Antonio Silva from Benfica for 40 million. Kukcu. Okay, that's a player I didn't know about. Looks like someone who looks half decent. But again, 30 million for him. Balde, 25 million. Coman for 29 million. Okoli for 29. I mean, these are some big numbers that are being thrown around. And then you've got Mudryk, who's coming on a free. Possibly the deal of the century, considering Chelsea in real life have spent over 100 million on him. What a signing. How on earth have they done that? That is crazy. And they've also brought in Alan St-Maximin on loan, which looks like they must have made permanent during their time. They did sell 94 million's worth. Liam Delap going to PSG. And it looks like they actually sold Caleb Okoli, who they brought in from Atlanta for 29 million, for 24 million in January. So no idea what happened there, but obviously didn't get along with many people. And there are a few other sales as well. Rico Lewis being in there, Wilson Esbrand, and a few frees along the way. Next season, 91 million spent. Alan St-Maximin coming in for that 57 million. They obviously liked what they saw and brought him in. João Neves from Benfica for 22. Kassar from Sparta Prague, and then we're going to South America for those two, for the Colombian Diego Carreno and the, I'm guessing, Argentinian, Romero as well. Looks actually half decent looking now. 11 million being received, but again, that means nothing. Katongo, though, 10 million. Not bad. Not bad for a youth prospect. 61 million spent the following season. Yeah, it's no surprise. I mean, they've spent loads of money. Amad Diallo coming in from Palace for 41 million. He's jumped ship from United to City and I guess might be enjoying himself. But there you go. So really, will it affect City if they went to the National League? Nah, give them 3 years, 4 years, and they'll be back in the Prem again and winning titles. But would certainly be interesting for those 4 years. And to be honest, I'm not sure this would exactly be how it was in real life. I think if they did, for some reason, get put down to the National League, I think the worst that could happen would be the Championship. But if it went down to the National League, all the players would leave, Pep would leave, and they'd have to kind of use the academy probably to fill out the squad and hope that they would be happy enough to stick around for a few seasons, which I think could be quite good, although they would bring in experience, and I'm sure they could pay enough money in the National League to fly up the leagues quite quickly with some experienced players. But there you go. We will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, as videos will be coming back in the new winter update. Yes, we are back in action. And I will catch you in the next one.